Go ahead.
So, Daddy has an idea for an exercise we can do that's making this so that we don't just think about this, we don't just talk about it, but we actually experience the realness of it.
Okay, so one more thing I want to say, what you guys were just talking about, Mine was talking about, was that it's about believing that what you have, what you need. And one of the reasons that people in our society hoard stuff is because it's taught that you get your happiness from the material world. And by getting more stuff, what do you get?
More happiness.
Happy. So, like, when you first get a present, how do you feel?
Good.
Good. But then after a while, what happens?
It gets old and then you don't want to play with it.
Yeah, so it only has a short-term benefit. So, there are some things, food and things, that actually give you pleasure and make you feel good. But how do we get our nurturing?
From our cows.
Yeah, but I mean, what's another way? What is something Mommy and I do?
Meditating.
Meditating, okay?
Praying.
Yeah, praying and meditating. So when you do those sorts of things, you get it from a source that's much deeper. It's like a deeper well. Okay, it's something where you're not trying to get your energy from things. You're getting it from inside yourself, and it's infinite in that sense. It's not limited. So that's one of the things that we're trying to practice as best we can. Although it's still good to get toys and presents and that sort of thing, but also you always got to know that true happiness only comes from when you're connected inside. So go ahead.
I was just going to add, there's a sentence he says later in the book that refers to this. It's interesting. He's saying, our minds are for being pointed at one place, and that's where? At God, right? At Master. That's what our minds are for. But our minds are going in all these other different directions. So it's not our minds aren't very effective at doing that. And he says, there's one place he says later in the book that anything we have that's more than what we need, our minds form a relationship to it and it creates bondage. So it's not even just that we're taking something somebody else needs, or we're taking resources from the earth that should be saved for later, or something like that. We're also doing something negative for ourselves because our minds are getting all caught up with those things instead of having our minds do what our minds are supposed to be doing, which is thinking about God. So there's one level, that's the material level, where this is true about just not having too much stuff and clutter and other people and all that. And then there's a subtle level about what it does to our minds to be surrounded with more things than we need.
So you guys really get a sense of this when we move. When we've moved, and when we pack all the things, you see how much stuff we have. Especially you older kids, you have a better sense of it. And that's because when you have all that stuff, you have to think about all that stuff. You're connected to all that stuff. It's kind of like a burden. A number of times when Daddy's been driving the truck, you can just feel the burden of all the stuff that we have. And then this move with all the animals and things like that is something that you constantly have to think about. Like what do we have to think about every day with the cows and the chickens and things like that? What are things that we have to think about with them? We got to think about feeding them and make sure they're all right. We got to check on them. We got to close the chickens up. So we have to take care of them, just like Mommy have to do with you guys. There's lots of things we have to keep in our minds all the time.
I know when their things are too much of a burden for them. When are your things too much of a burden for you guys?
What do you guys say about it?
Can you think of a time, especially when it's kind of a burden to have so much stuff? Thursdays and Fridays.
I have to clean it all up.
You have to clean it all up.
So you can have a really big house, and we could, our houses have consistently got bigger, but each house, where the bigger it is, what happens?
People have more stuff and more cleaning.
More cleaning. It's bigger to clean. If you have to do all the floors, you realize that there's more floors to do, just like there's more things to pick up. So having a lot of things and stuff is fun, getting it. But it's just like it was fun getting all the animals, but they're work. And the animals, actually provide things. Energy, they give off energy, and they give off food and things. So anyway, to keep in the spirit, so the exercise is this. You guys are going to find 2 things you no longer need. 2 of your old toys or something that you use, and you're going to give 1 to one of your brothers and sisters, it doesn't matter who, okay? And you're going to give 1 away to Goodwill or charity.
to the angels in the attic place.
The angels in the attic. Yeah, so you're going to have something that you're going to recycle into the general public and something you're going to recycle into the family. Okay?
Do you understand?
So you guys go through all your stuff, see things that you don't really use, or you look at it as something that you use, like an old friend, or something that you don't need anymore. That's
something that you had when you were littler and you don't like.
Yeah, and now
You don't want it anymore.
and it's just something that it's not so much not about wanting. What is it?
It's about not needing.
Maybe that's not needing, and that somebody else might
Want it.
need it.
So you're choosing a present for somebody, aren't you?
So you're saying, oh wow, this is something that we had, that you've had, and what? It's ready to go to somebody else. And this thing is really meant for somebody else. So that's what we're trying to connect. Because when you give it away, you don't even know who that person's going to be. Okay, so you guys are going to shut off the camera, and you guys all go do that, find two things, and come back down.